Welcome to the BNI Blast on Blab. If you're listening to this on the replay, retweet and share this with your followers and fellow BNI and business networking colleagues. If you're listening on YouTube, feel free to subscribe and make comments for us and for Maurice in the show notes. My name is Brian Lobig of Lobig Inc. Web Consulting and a member of the BNI Capital Business Alliance in Bethesda, Maryland. I provide web design, SEO services to small businesses, internet strategies to other marketing firms and consulting firms. And I'll have Philip, my co-host, introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Philip Day. I am with Philip Day Communications, a business-to-business and business-to-consumer communications and marketing company. We are in Charlottesville, Virginia, but we serve the world, mainly the United States, but I'm sure we can serve other places too. Bottom line for me is I'm the president of Who's Who BNI, and I've only been president for about 5 weeks. But I really do enjoy it. And I've been a member of BNI for a little over 2 years. Glad to be here tonight with Brian and our guest Maurice Williams.
Very good. We have a couple production assistants in the wings. Those of you who are listening to this live on Blab, if you have any questions or comments, first of all, if you have any questions, you can use the Blab approach. If you're logged into Blab with your Twitter account, you can ask a question by typing a / and a Q, and then a space, and then type your question, and that'll help kind of flag us that we've got a question coming. And I have a couple of production assistants. My associate producer Stephanie is inside over there, and she'll be kind of mentioning some different websites and some more information about Maurice throughout the broadcast. And then my Ninja Boss DC is another production assistant who will help with the comments over there as well. So Maurice, I'm really excited to present Maurice, especially since I've met him in person a couple times now, face to face at his BNI chapter. We're both from Bethesda.
Yes,
and
sir.
So I really one of the things I like to do is kind of check out people's websites. You have a fantastic website. And one of the things I really like about it is you have on your about page, you have a beautiful, succinct description of you and your business.
Okay.
And
yeah.
So
thank you.
what I wrote down was founded in 2009, Move Well Fitness is a private upscale boutique personal training company dedicated to helping you look and move better. Is that something you would give as your 30-second commercial in your BNI chapter as well?
Yeah, for sure. That's what we pride ourselves after, and so far so good. Just want to keep it going.
Well, tell us a little bit more about your business and something personal about yourself too.
Sure. So as you mentioned, Move Well Fitness founded it in 2009, part-time and full-time since 2014. I am an in-home personal trainer right now, slowly transitioning into a personal training studio in the Bethesda area. Hopefully, we work with women between the ages of 40 to 60 who are looking to get in shape and lose weight and feel really confident about themselves through exercise. So we help them rebuild their confidence by helping them look better and feel better about themselves. So something personal about me, big sports guy, big sports fan, huge Miami Hurricanes fan, football, and North Carolina Tar Heels basketball fan, die hard. So more of a college sports fan than I am a professional fan. So that's personal. I could tell you lots of other things, but I don't want to bore you. So I thought I'd just throw that one out there.
Sure, very good. One of the things I like to do is give a little description of people for the first. If it's the first time for some people hearing about what BNI is, I always like to give a little definition of that. So BNI is an acronym for Business Networking International. BNI is the largest networking organization in the world with over 7,000 chapters, 190,000 members. In 2015, BNI generated over 7 million referrals, resulting in more than $9 billion worth of business to members. BNI offers members the opportunity to share ideas, contacts, but most importantly, referrals. So I'll go ahead and turn it over to Philip to ask the first question of the day.
All right, Maurice. Now you talk about on your website, you talk about how you believe that nutrition and health go hand in hand, and that neglecting one will in turn affect the other. Would you expound on that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. I mean, there's that saying, you are what you eat. And I think a lot of times people forget about the importance of nutrition. There are lots of studies that are out that show that if you change your eating, you will definitely get the results. But if you just focus on physical exercise without changing your eating, then the results are either going to come a little bit slower or they're not going to come at all. So if you combine the two of those, then you'll have that perfect match. Nutrition is our fuel. It's our fuel for our body, whether we want to put muscle on or whether we want to lose weight. So it definitely plays an important factor. I used to say 80% nutrition, 20% physical exercise and stress and all that other stuff. But now it's 100% nutrition and 100% exercise as well. So hopefully people understand the importance of that.
Okay.
That doesn't add up to 100 though. That's like 200.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is.
We get
how it is.
That's the Yogi Berra edition there, but I get your point.
Move well fitness math.
Well, speaking of clients, what is one of your favorite clients' success stories?
I'm working with one right now. I've had a client that I started with in the end of 2014, and since then she has lost between 35 to 40 pounds. And it's simply been, a little bit at a time. If you do the math, it kind of averages out to, I think safely a half a pound to like 2 pounds a week, which is what statistics say is, or research says is normal, what you would want to do in terms of weight loss. And we're still pushing along with that. She's had a little minor setback, which is normal, which is typical. You kind of reach a plateau. So now we're trying to figure out what we could do to overcome that plateau. And I think we figured it out. Some things that she had kind of fallen off with that we're getting back on track. So that's the good thing about success. Having achieved a little bit of success, when you do reach a plateau, you can kind of regroup and get back on track with that success again. So,
what do you see, Maurice, are the challenges of women in that age group, other than just the middle age spread and the typical things that happen? And how do you get them to tackle those challenges?
Sure, I think one is still being a mother, a working mother. Those are probably the two biggest challenges for most of my clients. They either work part or full time and have a pretty high position, either CEO of a company or pretty close to that, or they still kind of work part time, and their part time work is still very important to them as well. So balancing that with their children can be very challenging. So we just have to make sure we work around that. For example, I have one of my clients who is now, we meet at 6 o'clock, but we've decided in order for her to do her cardiovascular exercise, she's not going to do it after work. It's just not feasible for her, because as soon as she gets home from work, she's, with her child. So now she has to wake up an extra 10 to 15 minutes earlier to get the cardio in. It's a sacrifice, and sometimes that's what it takes. It takes being a little uncomfortable to get the results that you want, so that you can be comfortable. So those are some ways we can just work around it. At work, you can just move more, get a standing desk during your lunch break. Take part of your lunch break to do some moving around instead of sitting down to eat. So there are lots of little things you can do to get extra calorie burning throughout the day.
The topic of our show is an inside look at the personal training business. So kind of with that in mind, what skills do you think it takes to become successful in the business of fitness?
Believe it or not, secondary is education. Like if you were to just do a background search on me, I certainly have all of the education that most trainers do and maybe a little bit more. But that's not even really it. It's really personality and learning how to deal with people. If you don't have those two things, it's going to be a struggle for you to be successful in personal training. Most of the most successful trainers that I know, they don't really have a strong education background, but they have strong people skills and they know how to communicate and motivate. So if you can communicate, you can motivate, you have strong people skills, I mean, you're way ahead of the game in terms of being a great trainer.
Okay. We've got a question from the audience, Maurice. James wants to know, he had heard that snacking on peanuts was not a good idea because of the fat content. But some information that he read recently says that it's a healthy snack. What is your opinion on that?
When it comes to nuts, I recommend, not a super huge fan of peanuts, although I don't think they're as bad as what the research says. And I see he posted pistachio and almonds. I generally recommend to my clients almonds and walnuts because those tend to be the healthiest forms of nuts in terms of the great fat content that is them. I know that a lot of people try to avoid fat because they think, well, if I eat a lot of fat, I'm going to be fat. But that's not the case in terms of, just healthy versions of fat. So I recommend walnuts, as I mentioned, almonds, and then sunflower seeds are probably the top three recommended nuts that you're going to eat in moderation, just like anything else. So it's not the actual food that makes you fat, right? It's sometimes it can be the quality or the amount of it that you're eating. So pretty much everything sort of kind of moderation, and then moving, less stress, less likely to put the weight on. So.
Okay.
I know there's going to be. I've invited a couple people to watch this broadcast who are interested. They're very physically fit themselves, and they're young, and they feel like, a lot of people feel like, well, if they're very active and physically fit in high school or in college, that this is kind of a natural career for them. So, but like you said, I think you really need to think about the business aspects of it and the personality. What advice would you give to someone who's thinking, is very physically fit and they're interested in becoming a personal trainer, like as their business?
Sure. One of the best ways to do that is to shadow a personal trainer. Look up the top personal trainers in your area or call the local gym and ask who the top trainer is and if they'd be willing to allow you to come in and shadow. So you can kind of just get a feel of what we deal with. It's more than just counting reps and giving exercises and writing exercise programs. I joke around and I say I'm probably as close as my clients, probably as close to my clients as I am to my wife, because I see them, right? I see them 2 to 3 times a week. Not very many other people see them that much besides people in their family. And when you're dealing with someone for 50 minutes, 30 minutes, however long the personal training session is, I mean, you're talking, right? It's personal. There's a reason why it's called personal training. So you're talking about, the world events and particular things. And sometimes clients get really personal with you. Some stuff is maybe a little bit too personal. But if you're not willing to deal with that, then you probably do not want to enter this field, because we do become like, at the barbershop or at the beauty salon, we're that ear that people want to voice their opinions to, or that shoulder to cry on. And sometimes the session is that. I mean, it's not even about the exercise. It's about, thank you, Maurice, for listening to me today, because nobody else is going to listen to me.
So it sounds like psychology should be some required classes of personal trainers.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I think I only took one, but I had to learn hard knocks. I would highly recommend you could probably even double major in that, exercise science and psychology. So
that's a great suggestion. Great
suggestion. Really. We're halfway through now, and I think it's time now for our BNI educational moment. Am I right there, Brian?
Yeah, there's a little transition. So between segments,
we're going to
start off with kind of like the business questions, and we kind of transition into more specific business networking or BNI type questions.
Yeah. And as I'm the new president, I wanted to talk about leadership tonight. So my minute for our BNI educational moment tonight comes actually from championsbniblogspot.com. And this is what I've got from there. There is no cost to joining BNI. It is an investment towards healthy relationships and strong well-being of their businesses. As president, break down the number of hours in the week so members and visitors see how little investment it takes and then their overall return on investment. So we did a little calculation here, and we have 168 hours in a week. You have 2 hours per meeting and 1 hour for a one-to-one. That's 3 hours out of 168. You know what the percentage is every week for that?
3 divided by 168, that would be 40. Go ahead.
1.78%.
Huh.
1.78%. So obviously the investment that you make in time really pays off in building relationships. And that is our BNI educational moment.
Very good. So speaking of BNI questions, I always love to hear about how people first heard about BNI. When did you first hear about it as a concept?
A couple of years ago, from 2004 to 2007, I actually did residential real estate, and I believe that was my first introduction to it. Didn't really understand the concept. I went to 1 or 2 meetings, and it just wasn't for me at that time. But when I decided to go full time in with my personal training career, I hired a business coach, and the business coach recommended that the first thing I should do in terms of networking is to look into BNI groups. So that's how I was reintroduced to it.
Interesting.
When it comes to BNI, Maurice, how do you do referrals? How much time do you spend during the week thinking about referrals and actually working to get them to your fellow BNI members?
I would say it's on my mind a lot. I do a weekly newsletter to my clients and potential clients. And in that newsletter, I always try to feature someone in my BNI group. Or if we don't have that particular field, then if I know someone else that's in a different BNI group, I'll feature that individual. But I'm always have my eyes and ears open for, listening to my clients or friends or members of the church that I attend, if they, are looking to buy a home or any of the other professions that are there. I'm always like, okay, I have the person for you. And I usually try to, talk them up as much as I can, because take pride in the people that I refer people to, that they're going to do a really good job. So I'm always trying to talk up the people in my BNI group. So.
Okay.
Very good. I've never heard that before. That's a fantastic idea. Feature someone in your newsletter on a regular basis in your BNI group. I subscribe to Maurice's newsletter, and I have to say it is one of the best personal training newsletters I've seen. It's very well done. It's not just a cut and paste, throw together job. Do you do that yourself, or do you have like a personal assistant helping you out?
I do the newsletter myself, but I have to give credit to NPE. That's my business coaching company, Net Profit Explosion. They gave me the template for it, and I just take that and I fill the information in. But I am so looking forward to passing that on to someone else as soon as I can. I love doing it. But I'm ready to pass that on to someone who's going to take it to the next level. So that's not, I won't be taking it to the next level. Somebody else will.
Mm-hmm. And all you have to do is go to movewellfit.com to the contact page, and it's at the footer, at the bottom of the page, newsletter sign up. And I'm going to sign up for it right now.
Yeah, you should.
You'll be
fantastic.
You'll get that first newsletter next Tuesday morning, 9:00.
Excellent.
I have a question. That's going to be relevant to Philip's chapter too. I recently visited Philip's chapter down in Charlottesville, and he has a growing chapter just like yours. You both have about the same size, and you're looking to grow your members. What has your group done to try to think about or generate new membership or look for new to grow the chapter?
So we stress two particular things: networking events, because that's where we can meet new people, and then also we have visitor days. So we've averaged probably at least one visitor day per month for the past several months, and I think that's been really helpful for us. So yeah, we're a really growing chapter. I can see us being at 30 members, before the summer ends.
Oh wow!
That's aggressive, but hopefully people in my group are on the same board as me. So I think we can do that.
Do you have this is a personal question, but do you have what is it called? What do you call it? An event planner. Do you have an event planner in your chapter yet?
We do not. We do not have an event planner.
Because the reason I asked is because I've been reaching out to event planners for my own chapter, and I found someone who I recommended to check out your chapter, because I think yours would be, she wants an afternoon group. So you should be getting a call soon, actually, from someone.
Sure.
Well, we invite the audience before we wrap up tonight to ask Maurice any questions. Maurice, I want to ask you a personal question too, but from your About Us page, your faith in Christ is very important to you, and I noticed that was a part of your bio. How does that affect you when you're training people? How does that affect your philosophy?
Yeah, so sure. I mean, I definitely have boundaries that I have to adhere to. I'm patient, so I always consider that person or whoever I'm training with. So it's a part of my life. I mean, it's who I am. So they're just, certain conversations that I don't have. There's certain words and stuff that I don't use. And as much as possible, I try to bring glory to Christ in a respectful way. I'm not a person to, wear it on my chest and say, hey, look at me, I'm a Christian. That's not who I am. But just in terms of my actions, my disposition, hopefully people can see that, there's something different with me. And then when we start talking, you'll find out that I'm a Christian. So that's my approach.
All right.
Very good. Well, let's see. One of our kind of wrap up things is to we always like to invite our guests to consider other BNI members who think might be interested or available for this interview. If you think this would be a good form of promotion for someone in your own chapter, feel free to tag them in your Facebook post. I noticed that you shared this on your Facebook page. Feel free to mention someone in your own BNI group or recommend them to participate in this little growing show. And we appreciate your participation.
Thank you. Glad to be here. It was fun. Love to do it again sometime if possible.
Yeah, we'd like to have you back. We have, I'm sure we'll have a lot more questions for you. This is, I think, personal training. I mean, what you're doing is so important. And I'm 51 years old, so I'm in that age range. Although, of course, I'm a male. But
I work with males too. I have some male clients.
Okay.
It's just that I specialize in working with females, because those are just gotten great results with females, and sometimes we as men can be a little too we know too much sometimes. It's kind of hard to get things through us. So and I'm speaking to myself when I say that too. So females are a little bit more they listen. Yeah, they trust and will follow. So
yeah.
What's the best way that you prefer people to get in touch with you?
Sure, you can certainly my website www.movewellfit.com. Phone number as listed there, 240-200-4003, or you can email me Maurice at movewellfit.com.
I was just thinking about one other thing that I really wanted to for you to mention or talk a little bit about before we close the show. Is I know that you typically do your services at your clients' homes or in facilities, but I know you have a goal for this year for your own business. You want to share some more information about that?
Oh yeah, man. I'm so excited about that. So excited about that. This is, a long process. My realtor, Bethany Scanlon, can attest to that. I'm glad she's still sticking with me. But anyway, I mean, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. It's going to be a facility either in Bethesda or in the Palisades section of Northwest DC, MacArthur Boulevard. So
Wow.
Any day now, knock on wood, we're pushing along and trying to get the terms together and all those good things. So it's in the works.
So going from virtual business to the brick and mortar, the world of brick and mortar. That's fantastic.
It's time to grow that. I'm ready.
That's awesome.
We do have one quick question for you from Karen, Maurice. She wants to know, how does one go about rehabbing after multiple injuries and different types of injuries?
Sure.
How does a
So,
woman do that?
yep, I'm not sure if she has come from a physical therapist or an orthopedic surgeon or an orthopedic doctor. That certainly would be the first thing I recommend, that you get clearance from them as to what you can and what you cannot do. And then typically speaking, if you seek out a personal trainer who has specialties in that, I do. I have, especially in corrective exercise, I can certainly help you with guiding you along those lines, whatever your particular joint issues are. But you want to make sure you find someone who knows your particular injury that you had and the proper exercises to do with that. So our injury was, I could probably say a little bit more if she is willing to share some of those injuries, but you can certainly exercise. I've worked with a lot of people that still have injuries, and we just move as best as we can. So.
Okay. And she wanted to know too, how do you find a specialist trainer?
Yeah, so I recommend, because I am certified through the National Academy of Sports Medicine. That's one place you can start, NASM.org. And if you look for, I think it's the section called Find a Trainer, and you're going to look for someone who has what's called a corrective exercise specialist certification, or CES. You should be able to find me, but I'm not sure what area you're in. And if you, hopefully you'll be able to find someone in your area. If not, send me an email. I can help you. I can help you find someone in your area.
Very good.
Okay.
Great. All right.
She said Central Virginia.
Okay. Yeah. If you send me an email, Maurice at movewellfit.com, I can certainly help you.
And I bet she'll sign up for your newsletter too. So.
I hope so. Central Virginia is awesome. Is that where Charlottesville is?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
I love Seaville. Great bed and breakfast is there. My wife likes to go to. So.
Great.
This is the beauty. This is the beauty of a live interview format. Is you never know who you're going to help or what kind of questions you're going to get right from the audience.
Sure, I love it.
Exactly.
All right. Well, appreciate your time. And our next week we're on this BNIblast.com Thursday. Next Thursday is May 12th. It's going to be an open networking broadcast next week, but we are going to have a special guest who's not a BNI member, but who's been given a living legend award in Wisconsin for their work in the criminal justice and rehabilitation community. So be looking forward to that. And he also happens to be a semi-pro basketball coach, among other things. So
I know who you're going to bring.
I know you know.
I know it is. Yes, I do. Kenosha, Wisconsin, perhaps.
How did you guess? You just read my mind.
Just lucky. He's got quite a story too. Yep, he's got quite a story. So.
All right, well have a great night, everybody.
All right, Maurice, thank you.
Thank you,
Have
guys.
a good night,
Good
everybody.
evening, everybody. Bye-bye.